I'm Andrew Phillips and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the thermal paste on a PS4, PlayStation 4. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we need to do is we need to remove that label and that label so we can access the screws to start taking this apart. But as you can see, it has a disclaimer right on there that the warranty is void if the seal has been removed or damaged. So just be aware of that. Once you start tampering here, you're going to void the warranty. But let's remove these so we can see what screws and see what kind of screwdriver or Torx bit we need to remove it. So if I take this little screwdriver, I can flip this label up and you'll see here the screw. Now this doesn't look like your typical screw. This is what's known as a Torx screw, and it's a T8 Torx screw is what that is. But you'll also notice that it's got a little point in the middle, so it's a security Torx bit. You'll need a special bit as shown here to remove it. You can see there it has like a star pattern. It says right there T8, but it has an opening there in the middle that'll go over that. But if you want to see a video I did where I go in depth on Torx screws, Torx bolts, things like that, I'll have a link across the top where you can check that out. But let's get this here, put it in the screwdriver. We'll get these labels off so we can remove these two screws and get this thing open. Now with these screws out, we can slide this piece here off to the side. Here it goes. Turn it like this. You can see it better. Work it off slow, and then it'll slide like that. Once you get it away from these clips, we can pull it out of the way. And now we have access in here. Now with this panel off, there's two more T8 security Torx screws, one here and one here that I'm going to remove so we can get this panel here off. Now with these screws out, what we're going to do is lift it up here like we did here on this corner. This corner can be a little tight, but you want to pop this one off as well. You don't want to break it. Let's get that off. There we go. And then now we're going to slide it back this way. So that way we clear those ports in the back. Lift that up. And as we look in here, you can see this is pretty dirty in here. So I'm going to clean this. I'm not going to show it here, but if you want to see the full video I did where I show how to clean a PS4 real good, you can check it out via the link above. I'll also have it down in the description. Next, we're ready to remove all of this. So you have a combination of Phillips screws and more of those T8 Torx security screws holding all this together. So we're going to go through and remove all of that, and then we'll be back to start taking things off. Now with all the screws removed, we can start removing these pieces. So we'll start back here. This little black piece here, we can remove that. We'll set that off to the side. Then we're going to remove this little piece right here. And this one's kind of clipped in. There we go. You can see already a little bit of dirt and debris right there. And we can lift this up here. Oh, and actually forgot to get a screw right here. Now this will come right up. Lift this up. Set this off to the side. Next, we're going to remove this here. So this is another Phillips screw. Slide that forward. Bring that out. Next thing, we're going to remove this ribbon connection here. We'll grab this little blue tab and gently pull that out. Like that. Now this back piece is just clipped on. Some people use a little plastic piece or a screwdriver. I'll just take this very small screwdriver, just get it right in here, just enough to open that up. And then we can just pull that down like that. And once it pulls that clip out, then you can keep working it, and then the rest of it will start coming out. So now with that off, you can just keep pulling this back. Show you here on this one. Got this side now. And once you have this down, then now the front, you can slide this like that. It'll come right out. And very dusty again in here. You can see inside that housing. Next, we're going to remove these two Phillips screws so we can remove this, and then we're going to remove two Phillips screws here so we can remove that. Very small. And then now we can remove this here. Just slide it right here. Be careful with this ribbon. And then we're going to put this off to the side. These screws are very long. Next, I'm going to remove this Torx here, another Torx here. We have one here, and I believe that's it. So we can remove this whole piece out of here. So let's remove those. And now this power supply should be able to come up. So here's where our plug goes in. So we're going to grab that. There we go. Gently wiggle that up. And you want to go easy because this is connected still. Move it here so you can see it. But I'm working it up slowly like that. And then we're gently going to lift it up. And you want to be very careful because you have a connection here that you do not want to damage. This can be tricky sometimes to remove, and I see people online say needle nose pliers, which I was going to use, but it's too risky because you can't grab it. I'm using one of these pliers here. These are actually made for ear hose clamps, because with them you can get a really good grip, and they pinch because you have the angle, so you can grab it like that and easily work it out without any danger. Now with that out, we can move this off to the side. Next, we have these three ribbons that need to be removed. These two just slide out, so we can just work them out and just pull them out gently. This one here, that black part, needs to be pulled out, so we'll have to work it this way and pull it out. So for these here, we can just grab them, and you want to be gentle because you don't want to damage the ribbon cable. But if we just come in, we can just gently grab it here and just side by side, or side to side, gently just pull it up, and that comes right out. Same with this little guy here, but I am going to use this. There we go. Now for this one, we're going to have to actually pull the black piece. So if we gently come up on the ends, now with that black clip raised up, you can just pull it out like that. Now that these are disconnected, we're going to flip it over. However, if you're having an issue with your PlayStation, with your disk drive being slow on the eject and just not performing right, you can check out the video where I show how to clean this. That would be in here where you would take that out and do that, but we're not going to get into it right now. You can check that out via the link above, also down in the description. But let's flip this over. And now on this side here, we have these Phillips 2 right here that need to come off. There we go. That off to the side. And then we have this little shield right here. Gently pull that out. There we go. We'll set that off to the side. Next, we need to remove this little button here so we can just pull up on it like this, gently, and just slide it forward. You don't want to break it, but it will slide right out. Like that. We'll set that off to the side. Now we need to take this off so it doesn't pull. This is another Torx screw. Lift this up and just pull this out here. There's a little clip that it goes around. There we go. Pull that off here, so that way there's no strain on it when we remove the board. Pull that through. And then now if we set this down, and you want to be careful because you do have a connection here, but this thermal paste on this thing is gone. But let me get a close-up. You can see the thermal paste right there, how it's all just worn down. And then this is where it was connected. Just a little remnant left, and it's got some greasy residue there coming off. But either way, definitely in need of being replaced. So we're going to clean that off with some alcohol and just get all that cleared off, and then we'll get ready to apply our new one and then put everything back. We're going to get some cotton ball with rubbing alcohol, and we're going to start cleaning this off real good. You want to clean it very nice. It's coming off really good. And you want to clean it like you can see here. You want to be able to see all the writing on it. So I'm going to clean this real good. We're going to clean this off right here real good. And then I'll be back once I'm done cleaning everything so we can take a look at it before we start putting everything back together. All of the thermal paste has been cleaned off, all the residue. This is how you want it cleaned up. You can see how nice it looks, completely clean of all the old thermal paste. So we're going to apply it there. You can put a glob in the middle and then just press it down. I'm going to use the spatula and spread it out evenly across that. And then here's another shot here. You can see how clean that is as well, where it's going to be laying onto. I'm going to be using Thermal Grizzly by Cryonaut. This is a very good thermal paste. It's better than the typical ones because it can handle a higher heat. We'll bring in the applicator and Go ahead and squeeze some on here. And now let's get our spatula. Spread it out evenly like that. You want to even it out, but you don't want to obviously take away from it. So I think we're good right there. Now that we have that on, and we've already brushed this all off here, you don't want to be putting it back on all dirty. We want to take this, we're going to feed this back through here since that needs to go through on that end. So we'll pull that through. Get that all the way through here. We're going to take this harness, plug this back in right here to a clips. There we go. And now we're going to gently bring this in place, pulling that through. Now this side of the board needs to be cleaned still. You want to line up all of this. That comes in, and then we can lower it right into position here. And that's on, and then now we can connect this. Easier to do it this way. That's attached. This is now in place. The thermal paste is on. Now you have these thermal pads, I believe they're called here. I'm going to clean all this off. All this junk on here. And then, you know what, let me get my my blower. We'll bring this in here. That's better. Sometimes you need to replace these pads as well, but these pads look good. Next, we're going to start putting everything back together. All right, next thing, we're going to put this back in place right here. There you go. And then we can reattach this. Let's put this one in before we get that one too tight. You don't want these over tightened either. I would just tighten them until you get some resistance and then call it a day. You don't want to over tighten them and crack anything. So now that's in place. And there it is all together. You can see how clean everything is. And we'll be cleaning everything as we put each component back. I'm going to put everything back. We're going to clean it as we go along. I'm not going to show all that and bore you with that. If you want to see how to put everything back, just pretty much backtrack how we took it apart. That's the same order we're going to do it in. Wrapping it up here, we'll put this last piece here, this little cap. Get this thing in place. Slide this one here in place and then just clips down. Just secure it all around. This one also, we'll put these last Torx screws in for these. And then now this last one here, this one slides in and then just push it in. That clips in. And then now we'll put the tube back here. The little black Torx screws that go in here. Everything is back together. So that wraps up this video on how to replace the thermal paste on a PS4, PlayStation 4, as mentioned at the beginning. I hope that this video was informative for you. I hope it helped you out step by step. I hope my instructions were clear. The teardown process can be pretty tedious, but if you just take your time, it's easy. It's a very easy fix. The thermal paste that I had here, the Thermal Grizzly, that's about $15. But if you get a regular one, just a regular thermal paste, that can also be used. I just like the Thermal Grizzly because that has a a more industrial strength to it, but you can get it as low as $5 to $7. Easy fix if you know how to do it. So please send me any questions and comments. I would love to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate all the support. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.